Hello and welcome back to In the Kitchen with Pen, and today we're going back to our school roots. Now, school dinners, back in the day, I don't like that saying. When I was at school, when Steve was at school dinners were amazing. They weren't bought in, everything was freshly prepared. You didn't have packets of this and packets of that. Now I know some schools still do cook properly, but not many. So we're going back to our roots, and we're going back to our roots, back to our school roots, with chocolate pudding and pink custard. And pink custard couldn't be easier. You need a packet of blancmange, and you add some sugar, and you heat the milk, and you stir it, and then you've got your pink custard. Now, you could make ordinary custard and add food colouring. That's fine. I'm not going to say anything. You know, we do what suits us, don't we? Or another favourite was chocolate custard. And to make the chocolate custard, all you do is you add some cocoa powder to your custard powder when you're making your custard, and there you go. Voila, chocolate custard. So anyway, let's show you what we're doing here. In my bowl, I have 75 grams of butter, and I have 75 grams of sugar, and all I have done is I have creamed the butter and sugar together until they are nice and light and fluffy. And now I'm going to add in 2 beaten eggs and a good dash of vanilla extract, and then we're going to whisk them all up again. About a teaspoon, a little bit more, it's not going to hurt. Right, and we're going to whisk them back up again. And then in this bowl, I have 230 grams of self-raising flour and 40 grams of cocoa. Now I will emphasise, it is cocoa, it is not drinking chocolate. You want that nice flavour that you'll get from cocoa, and obviously cocoa will give you a better colour. And what I need to do is really simple. I need to sieve this mix into the wet mix. Okay, so, oops, yeah, you don't do that, you know, that's not a good idea. So we're just going to sieve some of this mix in. Just push it through the sieve with your spoon. It's not so much the flour that will have little lumps, it's your cocoa powder. So we do this so that we get a nice even distribution of cocoa powder. There we go. That's the first little huge lump there. There we go, that's it. And then we're going to fold it in, and to fold it's a figure of 8 with a metal spoon. That's what I was always taught at school, that's what Mum used to do, so, and it always works, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're just going to mix that all in, and then we'll add the rest. And as I said to you the other day, that when you use a glass mixing bowl, it's good because you can see if you've missed anything. So that's one lot in, and we'll go in. I'm going to do it in, oops, going to do it in 2, she says, knocking it everywhere, but I am going to do it in 2. So that is the flour and the cocoa going in, and then I'll carry on what I'm doing and be back to you. Right, I've just put the oven on to preheat at 180. Now this batter is a little bit thick and claggy, so I'm going to add some milk, and then we'll just continue mixing it in. And I have greased a square baking tray tin, and it's my usual go-to, which is the silicone one. So that's sitting on a baking tray here. And I just want to, that's a better consistency, that's it. I just want to mix this and get it in. In fact, I'm going to change my tin because this is quite a big tin. So bear with. Right, smaller tin. I have greased and I have lined it, and then we're going to pop our mixture into this tin, and we're going to spread it across so that I use all of the mix, and also so that it fills the tin. Now my oven has preheated. The Ninja does heat up in 1.5 minutes, but I set it for a longer time than what I'd need anyway. So, right, mix in the tin, and then we spread it about. We want it to get into the corners. Right in. That's it. Oops. There we go. Right, and now this will need to cook for between 30 and 40 minutes. So I will pop it in, and nice. We'll see it when it's cooked. There we are. Let me go up to 30 minutes. There we are. That's all I need to do. We'll be back soon. Well, I've just put the milk onto the hob with the sugar in it, and I'm just going to warm that through quite gently. And I'll just show you the cake. It's risen one side more than the other, but I guess that's because I had more mix that side. Right, so as I say, I've just got the milk warming gently on the hob, and once it comes to a rolling boil, I will add it to the blancmange mix. And I took a little bit of the milk from the pint and mixed it with the blancmange mix. I mean, it's most definitely pink, isn't it? So, yeah. Right, let's just let this heat through. The cake is cooked, I have checked it, so it's just got another minute to go, and our milk is now coming up to the boil. When I say I've turned it down, I've turned the time down. So that's our milk up to the boil, and all we're going to do is we're going to pour it onto our blancmange mix, which is essentially a custard mix, and stir it so that it all mixes in beautifully. Now, if you were making blancmange, you'd leave this, you'd let it get cooler, and you'd pour it into your mould. Well, obviously, it's a little bit runny, so we're going to pop it back. There we go, we're finished. Back into the pan and let it thicken up so that we can have it with our chocolate pudding. So next time you see this, I'll be pouring it over our chocolate pudding. Right, our pink custard has thickened. Our cake is cooked. So let's get, and yeah, I'm going for the biggest side, our cake into the bowl. Oh, it's jolly hot, look at that. Into our bowls. I'll lift it up and show you. It's really light. So there's our chocolate pudding. Oh, and now we need our pink custard. So let's, oh, school days, school days, school days. You don't appreciate it. You don't, not when you're there. But honestly, best days of your life. Friends I made back at school are still friends now. Just pouring some into a jug so that if Steve wants more, of course he'll want more. It's the custard at the end of the day. He can pour it on. But there we have chocolate pudding and pink custard. You know, oh excuse me, listen to my voice. You know what's going to happen. I'm taking Steve's through and we shall be back for the taste. Well, you saw how easy it was to make. Let's just show it again in the bowl. And we're going to try it separately and then together. So let's do the chocolate pudding. And I know I said, but it really feels light. And it is. And it's incredibly chocolatey, but that's what I wanted. Now for some of the pink custard. And now a bit of both. Oops, that was on my draining board, so that's okay. There you go. Wow. Chocolate pudding, pink custard, absolutely delicious. And you fancy a trip back to your school days, but not with the wicked teachers? Make this. Thank you very much for watching this edition of In the Kitchen with Pen. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Any comments, write them down below. Happy to reply. Please, if you're able to, share on all your own social media. And if you would, I'd be awfully grateful if you'd give us a hype. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you again very soon in the kitchen with Pen. Bye bye for now.